Hey guys, this is Settle for Three. Thanks for watching our episode earlier this week. We got another one for you this week. Joey, Cameron, Evan, how you guys doing?
Fantastic, except I think we're on a mirror thing here because you pointed us in the wrong direction, but I'll take it.
All right, way to call me out early. This is going to be a good episode. I have a surprise. I have a surprise for you guys in a little bit. Related
Nothing
to
good about a Joey surprise.
yeah. I got a surprise for you in a little bit. That I think will you both will really like. But before we can get into our prop bets that we're going to do today, let's get into our mailbag. We want to say thank you for everyone that commented. Please keep commenting, good, bad, ugly. We don't care. Say what you got to say. We'll pop it up on the screen. First one's from Shane. He says Marshawn Lynch is going to come out of retirement and run it back up with the Raiders and Pete Carroll. That's in reference to our story we did last week on them hiring Pete Carroll, the Raiders. So, Cam, any thoughts on this for Shane?
Well, Shane, in general, I think this is a very interesting take. Marshawn Lynch is not coming back. It would be awesome to see him. Yeah, it'd be awesome to see him go and steal another golf cart. But yeah, I don't see that happening. I think Pete Carroll could be successful. It's going to be really cool to see Chip Kelly actually on the offensive side too. It should be an interesting couple of years. I don't think next year they'll be in the playoffs, but maybe in two.
Honestly, Evan, I don't even think Pete Carroll should come back. The dude's 73 years old. He has a 3-year contract. His roster needs some major overhaul. I don't know if he makes it through his 3-year contract.
This is a transition period, right? And I think he was a transition hire. That's why they only made it a 3-year contract. He is there to bring in some talent, develop it, and then retire as out on top.
All right, on to our next comment. This is from Jam and JK. Seems like Tennessee is concentrating on the nuts and bolts, like the O line. I'm hoping that with a doable schedule and some luck, they can have a better ending next year. And this is in response to us talking about whether Tennessee was in our way too early top 10 last week. Okay, Evan.
Yeah. So this comment made me think about a few years ago. We always talk about Alabama, right? Where especially a few years ago, all of their third string players were transferring other places and being starters. If anybody can do that now in the current environment that we're in with the transfer portal and NIL, if you can get close to that kind of depth on your team, you are doing something extremely right. As long as Tennessee can hold on to as many key players as possible and add more in those types of spots, like the nuts and bolt type spot, you're going to be doing really well. And Heupel seems to be holding on to a lot of those key players.
So, Cam, we talked about last week the how the SEC just reversed the schedules for back-to-back years. So Tennessee's literal tough games this year: home against Georgia, home against Oklahoma, on the road at Alabama, on the road at Florida. I feel like that's like they can navigate that and have a pretty good season if things go right.
They could be a two-time playoff appearance team for sure.
Yeah.
Um, kind of like this guy said in the post, they're doing an excellent job already. Heupel is just pulling in different guys and being able to place them around the team. They have offensive weapons with the loss of Squirrel White. That Evan, you can call me out on all the guys I'm not mentioning here. With the exception of Dylan Sampson coming back at running back, they're going to be really good next year. And then you start adding some, depth on that roster. Yeah, it's a team that can hopefully get to a second, third round of the playoff.
Well, let's move on to our last comment, and I think this is the one we all really wanted to focus on tonight. Ahmad Coley, 479, 55-23 blowout. Jayden Daniels did nothing but dance in the end zone down 19 points. You look like a rookie. Well, duh, he is a rookie. The only reason Washington semi looked good is because all of the fourth downs and the punter throwing first downs. If not for all of the shenanigans and fourth down video game play, they would have lost by 60 easy. Guys, real quickly, I also think it's stupid when players celebrate down big, but everyone does it. And yes, he looks like a rookie because he is one, but I feel like we would all agree a rookie quarterback taking your team to the NFC Championship game, none of the fault should be on Jayden Daniels.
So I can go ahead and fill in. Jaden Daniels was not the problem with this game. The Washington Commanders roster is not a competitive roster. Period.
Yeah.
End of story. They're not. They didn't have the depth to get there. Jaden Daniels put them in that scenario, and he's the only quarterback the entire season to throw for over 250 yards twice against the Eagles. Only guy. Okay. On back to back plays or almost back to back possessions, you had a fumble by a receiver and then you had a fumbled kickoff that essentially doomed the Commanders in the
Yeah.
first half. And then you force them to try and make a competitive second half. It was Jayden Daniels wasn't the problem. It's just not a team that's built to be there yet.
So, Evan, it sounds like this guy is an Eagles fan or he just really hates the Commanders, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Love the Eagles. Hats off. And you know the whole celebrating while you're down thing. Yeah, I get it. It's kind of bad, but we've all been a part of bad teams before, whether recreationally or professionally. When we do well, we love it, right? We celebrate that kind of stuff. At least we should. Now, Jayden Daniels, he had the fourth best QBR the entire season last season. He was not the problem. This was a matchup of just the worst way. You had the best rushing offense against, I think, the 30th worst rush defense in the league. You're gonna have a blowout. This was kind of a really crummy matchup for a lot of things. Next year and the years forward, as long as the Commanders can get a more well-rounded team, they will be a really solid playoff team. This year was not their year.
I have one really big call out. How in the world do you call out a successful fake punt as
Yeah.
being a negative thing? How is that even like that?
How often does that happen? It never happens.
In the NFL, that is at the top level in the
Yeah.
playoffs. That's an awesome coaching call. It worked to take the shot and to do it. That's awesome.
And that's my thing is when you're going against a team like the Eagles that can score on one play, which they did once or twice this playoff, they scored on the first play of their possession. Sometimes a team like Washington is going to go for it on fourth down. Sometimes they're going to fake it. What do you want them to do? You just want them to punt it down 21? I mean, that's just absolutely asinine.
The last thing I'll say on these comments is good or bad, especially the bad. We love your comments. Please keep coming, and we
Absolutely.
will keep calling you out.
Tell us why we suck. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, we already tell you why you stop Cameron all the time.
Thank you.
Let's let someone else do that. So let's get into the Super Bowl. And on our previous episode, we kind of dived in depth of what was going to happen in this game. I kind of want each of you to give me a shorter version of that. And then we're going to go into picking our game props and our exotic props. So, uh, Cam, I'll start with you. What are your big takes on this game?
Talent versus experience, both players and coaches. It's a really good matchup. The Chiefs, as we all know, just a perennial powerhouse. They're methodical. They move the ball well. They have a solid defense. The Eagles, sheer talent wise, absolutely insane. The fact that we look at Jalen Hurts as being a con is kind of a crazy take that people have.
Yeah.
He's an incredible quarterback that has truly grown. No matter what the outcome of this game is, I think that line can go either way. It'll be a really fun game to watch.
My thing with this one, also like Cameron, this is talent versus coaching, and until somebody can show that they can beat Kansas City in the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl, then I gotta pick the Chiefs. And on paper, the Eagles should absolutely beat them. But Andy Reid, he knows how to coach these playoff games. He knows how to coach these Super Bowl games. And the stats on paper during the regular season, he has shown time and time again, they don't mean anything when it comes to the playoffs.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get into our game picks. And guys, I got a surprise to reveal to you. I have in my hand
Nervous.
two cards.
Oh
All right.
gosh.
Well, two cards. These are the punishments for next week.
Is one of those supposed to be a B?
It's a B.
Yeah, it's a
It's
B.
backwards.
If I was smart, I would have done heads or tails because we're going to talk about that, but I'm not that smart. So I want you guys to pick the card right now that is going to be the punishment, but you got to agree on one.
I'm gonna go backwards B.
I'm gonna go backwards B2 for Bowman.
All right. So A, so B, and after we do our picks, I'm going to reveal what this is. I actually don't know if I remember which one this one is, but
Oh
after
gosh.
we do it, I'm going to reveal it. And on our picks this week, I am joining in. So I will have to do this punishment on video, and it will air in one of our future episodes. I don't want to.
Joey, that image does not look like a bee. I'm just gonna
What
throw
does
it
it
out
look like?
there.
Oh,
All right,
like
let's move
that?
on.
Upside down?
I don't even know that that's
I
better.
mean, yeah, I don't know if that's better either.
All right.
Comment down
Anyways.
below what you think that is.
Yeah.
I think you need a
Okay.
cryptographer in order to try and get through that.
All right, guys. So we're going to go through these one by one. We're going to start with just the game related bets before we get into the fun ones. And Evan, for all these first ones, I'll have you answer first, and then Cam, and then I'll go. So the spread, Kansas City minus 1.5. Evan.
Yeah, I'll go Kansas City on this one to cover. It's a 1.5 spread. There's not a whole lot to say.
Eagles outright. So Eagles or Kansas City obviously doesn't cover.
All right. So you got Eagles, you got Kansas City. I'm gonna take Kansas City to cover. I can't do it. All right. Uh Over under on this game is 48 and a half. It dropped a point since it originally opened at 49 and a half. Dropped a point. Evan, what do you think?
I'm shocked this one went down instead of up. I mean, both teams have shown a lot of times against some really tough defenses that they can score, especially the Eagles. And I don't see Kansas City letting off the gas on this one. I'll take the over.
Yeah, this one was actually really hard for me. I think it's going to be right around that 48.5 point.
Mhm.
The thing that makes me think the other way, though, and I'm going to go over, is if this game comes late and it's a 10-point game, say 31-21, I think Eagles are up. And that would mean that we have the Chiefs trying to come back. And I don't think it's going to be a 20-20 kind of game.
Yeah. So for me, this season the Chiefs have hit the under in 48 and a half. 74% of their games this year have been under that total. And for the Eagles, it's been 60% of the time they've been under 48 and a half. But I'm going with the over because just like Cam said, if the Chiefs are down late, you know they're going to score. There's going to be a flurry of points, I think, at the end of the game.
Yep.
And we could see very minimal scoring in the first half. I think things are going to get wide open in the second half. So moving on, this is a very interesting one. Jalen Hurts carries over under 9.5. And just to set you guys up, he had 3 rushing touchdowns last week. So is that going to factor into your decision, Evan?
Now, clarification, this is 9.5 carries, right?
Yeah, so it's the under would be he has 9 or less, and the over would be he has 10 carries or
So
more.
And
it
sacks
doesn't
don't
really,
count.
yeah, it doesn't really change my pick at all. But I'm going over because this is an Eagles team that is built behind the run, right? Especially later in the season when Jalen Hurts has been kind of beat up. He's going to get the call. He's going to carry it. He's going to try and do a little read option type of deal. He's going to go for over 10.
I'm going to take the under. I think that I think the Chiefs are going to be massively stacking the box and trying to stop any kind of rushing attack. I really don't think that the Eagles are even going to try. I think it's either get it to the outside with Saquon or it's get out of pass. That said, under.
I'm going to take the under as well. Hertz has had 9 or fewer carries in 5 of his last 7 games. And if you look at these games where he does get a lot of carries, it's because Saquon's getting tackled at the 1 yard line. And
Mhm.
so they're doing the tush push, and that counts as a rush. So he's getting a lot of his rushes off that. I don't think you're going to see Jalen run the ball as much unless there's just a complete breakdown in coverage or if it's a short yardage situation. So I'm going to take the under on that. Moving on, Patrick Mahomes passing yards over under 251 and a half.
This is hard.
Yeah.
This is hard. And I feel bad saying this for every single one so far. I'm going to go the over only because I think the Chiefs are going to win and they're going to need Patrick Mahomes to have a 275 plus yard game in the air. So I'm going to take him on the over on that one. It's going to be really hard to do that against the Eagles,
The number one
but
passing defense in the
exactly,
NFL.
yeah. It's going to be really hard, but Kareem Hunt, I don't know that he's going to really have a huge game this game. So a lot of it's going to be put on Patrick Mahomes' back, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion.
If I'm taking the over on points, I think I have to take the over on passing yards. I really want to take the under because I know how good the Eagles defense is. I just think that Mahomes is forcing the ball down the field late. May lead to an interception that's really entertaining to watch, but I think yard wise, he gets to that point.
Look at us agreeing on something.
There.
Uh, I'm gonna also take the over, but I feel like we're all gonna lose on this one. I just have a feeling that the Chiefs can
I can
win.
see it.
The
Yeah.
Chiefs can win a situational football game where they outcoach the Eagles, they win the turnover battle, and they commit less penalties. They can win that game
That's the big one right there.
they can win that game with Mahomes throwing under 250 yards, but just for the sake of camaraderie, guys, I'm gonna go with the over on this one. The
Look at
next
us.
one is partner in crime, Travis Kelsey receiving yards over under 60 and a half.
I'm going under on this one. Um, Travis Kelsey, he just hasn't been amazing down the stretch here, and all throughout the season, he's been really good, but he has been not where he was. It's he had some good highlights in late in the game against the Bills, but it was a really hard time getting started for him, and I think it's going to be harder against the Eagles. So they're going to play lockdown on him. Travis Kelsey, he's going to have less than 60 yards.
Uh, I think Evan's logic on why he's going with the under is wrong. He's the leading receiver for the Chiefs this year with 800 or 800 plus. That said, I think he's also going to be the number one guy that you're locking down on. I think you're going to have to leave Xavier Worthy in single coverage. Some of the other guys are going to have to get left in single coverage. I think it's an under as well.
I feel like Xavier Worthy, a rookie, is if the Chiefs are gonna win, he's gonna do something spectacular in this game. I don't
Agreed.
know. I think Kelsey could have a touchdown. I think he's not going to hit his yardage total. I hate to say that in the biggest game. I feel like he will come up big, but I just don't see it. The guy is older. He's the face of the team, but he's he's not the weapon he used to be. All right,
T
move it.
Swift is going to have her celebration either way. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Moving on. Saquon Barkley rushing yards over under 110 and a half.
over. Absolutely over. He's been so good in every game, especially down the stretch. He's been having big rushes, holding him to under 110. I think would be a big feather in Kansas City's cap. So yeah, just over. Don't have a lot more to say.
Under. This game comes down to Jalen's arm and how well he's able to perform. And I like Jalen's arm in this game.
So you like Jalen's arm. You don't like Saquon Barkley to hit his number, but you like the Eagles to win.
That is correct.
That is
This guy makes no sense.
backwards. Makes no
It makes
sense.
no sense. We're gonna have to do the bet a little bit
Hey,
different.
pause. Listen, if I'm the Chiefs and I'm Andy Reid sitting in a room, I'm saying, guys, we're going to stack the box. We're not going to let Saquon get more than 30, 40 yards the entire game, maybe 50 at max.
And
And
every
we're going
other
to
team
make
didn't do that.
Jalen beat. No, but I'm telling you what I think the Chiefs are going to do. They're not going to give Saquon the time of day. They're going to be stacking the box. They're going to be stopping the run.
Well, then
But
AJ
they are going to
Brown's going to
leave.
be running down the field.
Correct. You have AJ Brown and you have Devontae Smith that are able to open it wide open.
I think Andy Reid's telling his defense when you guys pile on top of Saquon, twist his ankle, and that's how they're going to stop him. But
Is that because
Saquon,
this is in New Orleans?
no.
Oh, I was talking about the time that what's his face got fired from the New Orleans Saints because they were purposefully injuring players.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was a
no,
reference that obviously went right there.
yeah.
right over my head. Uh,
Okay, yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
take the over. I think Saquon busts through that. All right, moving on. We got another Saquon one here. Longest run over 24 and a half yards.
I am going to take the over, not by much, but I'm going to take the over, and it's going to come early. I think it's going to be
Mm.
late first, early second quarter. Then the Chiefs are going to really lock in. But I'm
But
going
it
to take
has
the
to be
over.
a run. It can't be a pass.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no. This is a run. I think it's going to be kind of like in the Commanders game, not the first play of the Eagles drive in their first drive, but pretty shortly after, late in the first, early in the second, he's going to get away for a big one, and then the Chiefs are going to adjust.
Are you ready for me to really screw with you guys? I'm going to take the
Okay.
over here. I think he is going to have one good run. It's
What
probably
is
late in the.
wrong with you?
I think it's probably late in the fourth quarter, and he stops and falls down on like the 1 yard line. But just telling you what's going to
And
happen.
That's a crazy take.
And then Jalen gets his rush to put him over 9.5.
There it is. Yep.
Tush
Yeah.
push like crazy. No,
That's
I took
his.
the under.
That's
I
his
took the
tenth.
under on the
That's his
Jalen
10th
runs.
carry.
All right. Saquon's had a 25-yard run or longer in 10 of his 19 games this year. The Chiefs have only allowed a 25-yard run to a running back in 2 of their last 20 playoff games. Barkley has had three 60-plus yard touchdown runs in the last 2 games. So you got a case of something has to give here, right? I absolutely think Saquon's going to have a 25-yard run or longer. I think it'll be longer than 50 yards, and I think it goes for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
I was
I
gonna
don't think
say,
the
yeah.
commander stats count.
Well, not even Commanders. They absolutely count, even though they're just an awful run defense. But this isn't gonna.
Oh,
This
they're
isn't
just
a question.
improving.
This isn't a question of 24 versus 25 yards. This is a question of 35 plus.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Last one for just our strictly game bets. Any quarter to end scoreless.
No, no, not at all. Both of these teams can score a ton of points. They can score fast. On the flip side, both of these teams are really capable of holding these teams scoreless. I just don't see it happening with the Eagles' explosive offense and the Chiefs' just methodical drives that lead them down the field. I don't think it's going to be scoreless.
I'm going to say no, but if it happened, it would be in the first quarter. Chiefs have a knack for not starting fast, and the Eagles, with exception against the Commanders, have a knack for not starting fast. If it happens, it's in the first quarter.
I think it's going to be no as well, and I agree with Cam. If it happens, it would be in the first quarter because we know the fourth quarter, a lot of points are going to be scored, and a lot of people that took the under are going to be hating themselves. So, guys, exotic prop bets. I've been talking to you about this for 2 weeks. This is going to be a lot of fun. Cam, I'll have you give your answer first, and then Evan, you can counter. So the first one we got, and I'm going to set up each of these for you with a little bit of info. National anthem length. Now, I'll let you guys know a lot of these bets, you have to go to offshore books to bet on them. You won't find all of these on the FanDuels and DraftKings. You can find some.
I want to see your
But
search history.
I don't.
all right, national
So
anthem
the
length.
losing bet for B is actually we have to look at Joey's search history on
Yeah,
setup history.
I think that's it. Yeah, the backwards B is backwards in a lot of ways.
All right. National anthem length over under 120 and a half seconds, which is a fancy way of saying 2 minutes. So John Batiste is singing it. He's sang at two other games before. The 2017 NBA All-Star game, he did it in 90 seconds. And then 106 seconds, so that's a minute 46 at the 2017 US Open Tennis Championship. So all signs point to him going under. Now, if he brings a piano in the mix, it could be longer, but just take into account this average is the average, I think, of the last 10 national anthems. So I don't think there's a lot of rhyme or reason to it, Cam.
Genuine question: Does the if he brings a piano, does it start when the first note on the piano is struck, or when he starts singing?
I think it starts with his first word and ends
Okay.
at his last word, is how I
Okay. If that
understand it.
is the case, I would take an under. If the piano is included, I might take an over. I think you're within 5-7 seconds.
There might be a musical break in there, right? If he has the piano.
It's possible.
Yeah, chance
Under.
that somebody there's a chance somebody goes off script here, but I watched him do the U.S. Open national anthem. Fantastic.
Yep.
I don't know how it could have been any longer. In fact, I thought it was a lot longer than what'd you say, 105 seconds. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take the under.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the under. Like I said, this is an average of the last 10, so I don't feel like there's a rhyme or reason to it. So I think the under is a pretty good bet here. Let's move on to something anthem related. Will a coach or player cry during the anthem? Yes is minus 670 in the sports book, so you have to bet $670 to win $100. No is plus 420, which means you bet 100, you win $420. Cameron.
Yes. It'll be Taylor Swift. I mean, Travis Kelsey crying. He's 35. Honestly, he may retire after this. I think it's a pretty big moment for him. I think that's if you're gonna pick out who it is. I think that's probably who it is.
Yeah, I'm going to go yes too, and I could totally see it being Travis Kelsey. You know, a lot of those veterans, but you also always have some of those newcomers that are this is their first time. It's what they've dreamed of their entire lives. Somebody's crying. I may cry. Cameron, you may cry. Joey, you'll definitely cry.
I'll be at work, so hopefully I'm not crying. I'm also gonna go yes. I think there's a reason it's minus 670. You have 106 players on the field plus coaches on both sides.
That's a pretty safe
I
bet.
yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Not much you can prepare for this one. Is the coin toss going to be heads or tails? So in the first 58 Super Bowls played, the coin toss landed on tails 30 times and head 28 times. So fairly close to 50-50 Cam.
In the regular season, over the last 5 years, it's been 53%, I believe, tails. And you have odds in the playoffs. I'm going to take heads because I'm going to take the lower odds. I'm going to just completely screw it up.
Gosh, I wish you hadn't said that because I wanted to disagree. Heads has to even out at some point, right? It's 50-50 shot.
50-50
So
shot.
yeah, yeah, I'm going heads.
Hey
Okay.
guys, tails never fails.
Tails never
Tails, ne
fails,
tails never fails.
according to you. Yep.
Okay. Moving on to the next one. So this is a game bet, but the exotic part of it is Travis Kelsey's girlfriend, Taylor Swift, one of her best albums was 22. So this bet is, will Travis Kelsey have at least 22 receiving yards in each half?
Now, statistically speaking, if this
That was a
happens, I'm
dramatic
turning off the
pause.
TV and I'm turning off the TV, walking out of the room, and calling it a day. Super Bowl's over and the Chiefs won.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. If Travis Kelsey gets 22 yards in the first half, I think the Chiefs are up by 14 points. And I don't think it's going to happen. Travis Kelsey started out kind of slow the last few games. I just don't think it's happening. Especially because the Eagles are going to play lockdown on him.
Let's see, I took the under on his yardage. So I guess I kind of have to say no on this one, right? I mean,
You could think he's going to get 55 yards because the over under was 60.
yeah.
He
I
could,
mean,
he could
that.
get some late in the second half that
Yeah.
somehow leads into that 60 mark, but it's not coming with a lot of help in the first half.
Right. This one I think is going to be the most fun for us to talk about. Color of the Gatorade bath. So
Do not steal mine, Cameron.
So orange has been the most popular color over the years. Purple has been used at the last two Super Bowls. And just for odds sakes, purple has the worst odds, which means Vegas thinks it'll happen. Then the combination of yellow, green line is next, and then orange, and then my iPad died. But then we have clear Gatorade or water, and then no Gatorade bath is plus 2,500.
Are you saying blue isn't on there?
Blue is on there, but my iPad died, so Cameron?
I would say Dos Equis, but that'll be tariff, so they won't do it for the game.
Now
Sorry.
there's
No.
pause on that.
So no, I genuinely believe it will be a yellow-green bath, as the Eagles will be winning.
Okay, so all right, I got my notes up here. Purple is the favorite, then yellow, green, lime, then orange, then blue, then red or pink, then clear Gatorade or water, and then no Gatorade bath. There's definitely going to be a Gatorade bath. I'm going to
So
say yellow, green, and lime. I just feel like that's a pretty common Gatorade for people to drink,
so
right?
I'm gonna say blue, but there does need to be an asterisk to Cameron's because he is colorblind, so he doesn't really know what he's picking.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Moving on, and this is the one I'm least familiar with because I don't listen to him. Kendrick Lamar's first song, Cam.
I hate to say it, I don't really listen to much Kendrick Lamar. I'm waiting for Evan to kind of bring this home.
Oh, okay. On me. This is my moment, huh? All right. I'm going Not Like Us because it is his most popular song right now. Other than that, I he could either open this or close with this with Humble, which is another really, really popular song. I'm gonna go with Not Like Us for the opening.
So, the order of in Vegas of what they think it's going to be, Humble has the worst odds, then Not Like Us, then King Kunta, then Squabble Up, then Euphoria. I'm going to go with King Kunta because I've actually heard that song before and I like it. It's a pretty catchy song, and I think that could be something that he comes out to get the crowd going up. But okay, guys, this is the moment you've been waiting for. We got our picks. Time to open this
Oh,
up.
I mean, technically,
Still don't know what that is.
Cameron didn't pick his for
No,
Kendrick Lamar.
that's going to count as a
So
loss for him. So we already
I'll
know
go
he's not going
with don't.
perfect. No, 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 no. Your time has passed.
So I don't even get. You don't get one either.
I I
What'd
said
you
King
say?
Kunta.
he's the
I hate you.
deciding factor.
I hate you.
All right.
I hate all of you.
So here's the bet that we're going to do. The loser on our next episode in the welcome when we introduce has to sing the national anthem in its entirety at the beginning of the show.
Okay. Kind of
You
hope I
can
lose.
you can use you can print out the words if you want. I hope you know it.
I hope you know it too, Cameron.
I'm
You
gonna put
guys
if it's me, I'm putting a flag behind me. I'll be 3-0.
Oh, you better.
you guys want to know what the other one was?
Yes.
A Gatorade bath.
Oh, that would have been really fun too.
Go get it, but we're still waiting on Cam to jump on the table. So at least this way,
Next
the
week it's
loser.
a twofer.
Okay, we'll see. At least this week, you're gonna have to sing it live. I don't have to wait on any videos from you guys. So that's our bet. Loser has to sing the national anthem. So
Cool.
it's time for our
And
last.
hold on, can I
Yeah,
just
go
add
ahead.
another one just
Yeah.
real fast? If Cameron doesn't do the table by next week, he has to do the other one.
I like that. Okay,
Wasn't chosen.
you're outvoted 2-3.
Cool.
So
So
if I,
settling for 3. This is great.
well, you might be settling for a Gatorade bath of the color of your choice. All right, guys, let's go
I'm gonna
to
lose twice. Does that mean I have to sing the national anthem while getting Gatorade dumped on me?
Yes, I'll be with you the whole way.
all right, Evan,
That's
last word.
brutal.
So, last word for this episode is some pretty interesting stuff happened from an NIL perspective this week. So, if you didn't know, the NCAA was suing Tennessee over some NIL infractions towards some high school recruits. The NCAA lost that battle in court. The Attorney General of Tennessee sued the NCAA over this. The NCAA lost, meaning two different things. One is that now NIL deals can be negotiated while you are in high school.
Oh,
Number two, it weakens the stance which I know Cameron is going to absolutely love having a field day with this. Weakens the stance of the NCAA. They have almost zero say now in what's going on with NIL. It's weakened their stance overall as what's going to go forward. And Cameron, I want to hear your take. Go.
I just want to ask you a question, Evan. How is it almost? What jurisdiction does the NCAA have? They can't
They have their
enforce
name.
their
They
they
have
can't
their name.
enforce their rules. Referees are tied to a different sub organization. The players are, backed by the government essentially. Yeah, no, the NCAA is completely screwed. NIL is not a terrible thing. If you look at what the core was brought here for, which was supposed to be able to go to a bar, like Todd Gurley, like Derrick Henry, like any of these guys, sign a couple of footballs, make a few $100, and walk out of the bar. That was what the intention was. Uh, for all the collective bargaining is hopefully on the table. We'll find out. But yeah, I think this is the most asinine thing ever, and obviously we're seeing it blow up in our face.
And before Joey, before you go on this one, I just want to point out that this has paved the way to possibly hit the NCAA with an antitrust penalty, which would make them pay out $2.8 billion.
Oof.
That's a front
That's
words B.
that's billion with a B.
That's a correct B. Yeah.
Guys, it is absolutely ridiculous that high school athletes can negotiate NIL deals and for pay. Where is amateurism in this country? Now, I agree with Cam's point. There when NIL was started, there was an idea in mind of what it was going to look like. You're going to be in a commercial for your local Tuscaloosa car company. You're going to sign footballs at, you know, uh, whatever bar there is in Tuscaloosa. I haven't been there in 5 or 6 years. Or where do you get the
Gillette.
yellow hammers at?
Gillettes.
Gillettes. Gillettes. Okay, there we go. You're going to sign football at Gillettes, or maybe get a a drink with your name on it. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. So we can go so much into NIL in future episodes, but I just think this has to be regulated somehow. The problem is who's going to do it, Evan.
Yeah.
Please.
And the absolute last word I'll say about that is it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out in the next few years in the pro level, because you have people that are not just negotiating in their last year of college or their second to last year of college. You have people starting to negotiate and understand the ins and outs of these types of contracts when they're 16, 17, 18 years old. So
Yeah.
they have a
Understand is part of the problem. They don't. A lot of these guys don't have lawyers,
yeah,
and they're being poached by people that do understand it, and they're screwing them over. It's terrible.
yeah. So
And
you're going to have a lot more advice out there, and a lot sooner, and a lot smarter type of individuals that are going
We're
to be
gonna
coming in this type of area.
we're gonna do an entire episode on how we would break down
yeah.
NIL and
Yeah,
resolving this entire issue because we have just been recently hired as the commissioners for the NCAA.
Oh,
absolutely.
that's a good setup
Yeah.
for another chat down the road.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know when we're gonna do it, but it would be entertaining.
well, let's end this episode on a high note, Evan.
All right. So if you are not doing any of these things, I don't know what you're doing. Like, comment, subscribe. Please comment. We love calling you out on all of your wrong opinions.
Or
And
accepting why we're wrong.
or yeah, I mean, we've never accepted that we are wrong because we aren't, but we will try. So look at all these social media outlets below. We are on all of them. So follow us on all of these. We'd love to chat with you, communicate with you, all that kind of fun stuff. And please let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, mostly what we're doing right.